Our final keynote for today will be delivered by Professor Lothar K. Becker, a prominent advocate for open source software and a pioneer in the field of free office productivity tools. Professor Becker holds a master's degree in computer science and economics and completed one of the earliest master's theses in data mining and German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. Throughout his career, Professor Becker and his company have been leading providers of services for StarOffice and OpenOffice organization, spearheading open source migration projects and certification initiatives using LibreOffice technology. During the pandemic, he served as a chair of the Document Foundation and currently sits on the board of the Open Source Business Alliance, where he continues to champion digital sovereignty in both private and public sectors. Today, he will explore the transformative implications of AI and open source software, with a particular focus on Copilot technologies and LibreOffice. Please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Lothar K. Becker.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. So, open source, Copilots, AI. Last year we had, with a colleague and me, had the chance to introduce a little bit LibreOffice into the university with workshops before and after the conference. So afterwards we experienced that you are very, very interested and active in artificial intelligence. And we thought about, well, AI is also an item for LibreOffice. And why it is an item, I want to explain a little bit. Afterwards, I have introduced a little bit in LibreOffice where it comes from. The Document Foundation, in behalf I'm talking to you today. And then I want to mention the way AI is brought to Office suites with these copilots, so-called copilots, which are today mostly done in cooperation with OpenAI. And I'm speaking in the headline of the talk of risk, so no fear. I don't want to blame OpenAI in any sense, but I want to ask the question if OpenAI is today the right decision for doing AI in the in the office productivity environment. So it's more an ethical question I want to raise here. Yes, I was introduced perfectly, so just a few words. I'm talking here on behalf of the Document Foundation. My background, I have a little bit background, it's history, to be honest, in the university with AI, so I'm very interested in these items and issues in office productivity, but my business is around all these migrations to LibreOffice, mostly from Microsoft Office to LibreOffice in industrial or governmental environment. So you can expect a deep look into industrial problems or needs. What I'm not anymore so familiar with is this academic level. So please hear a talk more out of practice, more out of industrial experience than on academic improvement or something like this. I think this could be a great job for you, and that's what I'm talking here, or why I'm talking here, to engage you to come into the community of open source and LibreOffice, engage with AI in LibreOffice, and do the best to bring the same functionality to LibreOffice as perhaps we experience with Microsoft Office these days. So what is Document Foundation, what is LibreOffice? First of all, LibreOffice is meanwhile, the second most used Office productivity suite in the world. We are a little bit proud of that, but to be honest, we have to be a little bit cautious with proclaiming this second most used Office suite, because we have, to speak in academic words, we have no fundamental amounts. Why do we not have? Because you can download LibreOffice for free and without registration. So we can estimate more or less from downloads or from, there are some other possibilities to do estimations on which different computers we are installed and how the measurements are. But I can't give you an exact amount of installations or deployments from LibreOffice. But we have agreed with studies that we are the second most on it. So behind LibreOffice, and this is important for the talk, behind LibreOffice there's the Document Foundation. As the label says, it's a foundation, and it's a foundation for good. So this is not a company making profit, it's a non-for-profit organization. And it mainly works because of people contribute to this project, to this foundation. And LibreOffice is, by the way, one of the projects the Document Foundation is hosting. There's another one which also explains what we are doing in the Document Foundation. This is the Document Liberation Project, which produces export and import filter for your documents produced on digital devices, mainly to bring it in the open document format. And I think the others are clear. We promote free software with free downloads. We care about digital sovereignty with users' freedom to choice. We bring a free and totally open document format to your computers. And we care about open standards. And open standards is also a very important issue in integrating, for example, AI functionality with the Office Productivity Suite. A little bit of history, perhaps you have seen some of these logos. I don't want to explain the whole story. There are some turnarounds and some cornerstones in the history. I just want to mention that the history of what is behind LibreOffice is also more than 30 years. So this is not, as often accused, open source projects, a small, little, tiny, just a few days done coding. No, it's really a long time software project with a lot of people behind. To give you just a glimpse, we are round about 1,200 contributors, actively contributors. They are certainly not all have a job at the Document Foundation, but these are mostly volunteers privately or from companies who are bringing code, marketing, documentation, and all what you need to the project and to LibreOffice. So some of you know perhaps the brand StarOffice. This is the original root of LibreOffice. Then it went to openoffice.org, open. I want to mention the word open. And then it turned out by a milestone that we ended up today to the LibreOffice brand. So this was the beginning, no fear. Today it's looking in another user interface, but I want to show you, to prove you that this is a long history. And to be honest, as you have seen, I'm a German guy, there are 1 or 2 names in there I still know in Germany. So people are long-standing with this project. Yeah, not to mention a lot about the foundation. It's, as I said, a foundation for good under German law. What is worth mentioning that this construction or this organization as a foundation is very, very important. So German law sets the rules of the foundation, the rules for giving for good can't be changed anymore. Yes, there is a way to change them, but this is a very, very, very hard way to do. So what not could happen is, for example, that the non-for-profit property goes to for-profit. And now you get a little glimpse why I'm playing around with this OpenAI thing, because they have a story which is a kind of that. Who is interested in the foundation itself, how it works, how is the organization, can go to this website and have a look there. What is LibreOffice? It's an office suite deployed with 5 modules, a text editor, a spreadsheet, a presentation module, a drawing module, and a desktop database. So these 3 were built up in the history as a productivity suite. Yes, no Outlook alternative. So we are working closely together, for example, with Thunderbird, Mozilla Thunderbird, the project in OpenOffice. But this is the pure Microsoft alternative with LibreOffice. And one of the first challenges we experienced, real challenges we experienced, not just in building all the modules with it, was the point where Microsoft went to cloud. Microsoft was going with Microsoft Office 365 to a browser-based collaboration installation, server-based, and then with the possibility in real time working together on documents. And nowadays we are lucky that beside the normal client installation, you perhaps know, we have the possibility to do the same document format in browser. And this is the reason why I'm talking about LibreOffice technology. So what's behind the browser-based LibreOffice could be named in other ways. For example, Collabora Office or Nextcloud Office. Later I will mention Nextcloud Office. These are other brands because of other UIs, other rendering functionalities in the browser, but under the hood, it's all LibreOffice. So there might be a different way to bring it to the client, to the worker, but under the hood, all Office functionality is done with the core of LibreOffice, with LibreOffice technology. And certainly these days we have also mobile installations for viewers, or there are already some editing apps for LibreOffice, but to be honest, I don't know if it makes sense to do a calculation or a presentation on such a small device like a mobile phone. But the demand or the need is coming up more and more, so we need this as well. So what you should take from this is that we are on all devices meanwhile. this is done by different brands, but all LibreOffice technology. Now, I'm talking about the next challenge we are facing, and that's where you all come into the game. As we have reached the target, the object that we are also comparable with Microsoft Office 365, and by the way, I want to mention one thing. This is important. If you use Microsoft 365, your experience would be you are doing some stuff in it, and if you want to use a higher sophisticated functionality, you are brought directly from the browser version to your client version. This is not the case in the alternative. So you have all in the browser. And that's the idea behind my talk, that if we get also this co-pilot functionalities into this technology, we will far beyond Microsoft Office. I know this is a very, very ambitious sentence, but if we can do that, then we are really, really good. So why is this a challenge? To be honest, Microsoft Office did this since 2023, so they introduced these kind of co-pilots. You were experiencing this, that there were more and more coming in these kind of co-pilot functionalities for working with prompts. It's all with working with prompts in text, proposing a text, in summarizing text in it, or generating with ChatGPT any content in text documents and spreadsheets or in presentations. And what is going more and more is this how-tos, how-to-dos, pilots who are showing you the way how to do something. For example, what is one of the most used co-pilot is cleaning up my slides. So you can hit on such a co-pilot button and your slides are done very nice with all the same master slides within and so on. And this is done with the acquisition of OpenAI. To be honest, it's not a fully acquisition from Microsoft, but mostly one, done by closed models and parameters and training data. And with this, you have to pay an additional plan in Microsoft Office for using such pilots. So it's proprietary, and you have to pay a license fee, an additional license fee. But undoubtedly, out of my experience doing migrations in government and industry, this is a killer feature. One of the first questions I always ask when we go to government or go to industry corporations is, where are your co-pilots? Can you do this? Can you do that? And to be honest, our answer is there not really a fulfilling one. We have some answers there. I will give you a glimpse of it, but there's a lot of work to do there. And again, this is the point where you come into the game. Yeah, why is it so hip? And why we ask always the question, if we migrate to LibreOffice, do we have such co-pilots? And as a businessman, I must say, chapeau. If you have a look at this result of a study which Microsoft did, but I believe it's okay. They proclaim they gain in time per day with the use of co-pilots 30 to 35 minutes per work day. This is a huge productivity increase, a huge productivity increase. All managers who are seeing this say, oh, I want to have this, certainly. So this is a challenge for us to have also this functionality. So now I want to argue why we perhaps should it do in another way than Microsoft have done it. So I want to play a little bit with this open and AI. I think in this audience I don't tell you too much that the story of OpenAI was from really open. That was the reason why they called it OpenAI. It was a research-funded company, all for good, all open, and they get at a point, and now we can discuss for days, I don't want to question this, where they need a huge amount of capital for doing all this data learning stuff, model designing, and so on. So this was the point where Microsoft comes in 2019. They found a for-profit subsidiary, before they were non-for-profit. They found a for-profit subsidiary called OpenAI Global, and 49% of the shares, and additionally, the Azure Cloud technology was brought to OpenAI. And this was certainly the point in history, or the point in time where Microsoft said, okay, if we do that and we will use this in Microsoft Office technology or in Microsoft technology, then we have to change license agreements and we have to change fees and so on. So it went from open to proprietary, and with this move, OpenAI, or this research company, lost a lot of especially researcher, but also a lot of developer who said, no, this is no longer our company. We were hired with another ground, and we leave this company. This was a problem. So as it all is now with this model 4.0, I think, more or less closed, using this with the co-pilots is a loss of digital sovereignty with it. So what means digital sovereignty? Digital sovereignty means that the ability for every user, for government, for a company, to decide for what and how it to use. They want to use it for everything. They want to use it on every PC. For which purpose you can think about. They want to migrate or have the ability to migrate to an alternative at any time. Go to LibreOffice. It might be a way, but there's a question, where are your co-pilots? To process data in a transparent and secure way and verify it. This morning we heard from the Cambio CTO that it's not just using it, but verifying content or results of AI. This is very, very important. With LibreOffice, with open source, with open data, you can verify if the model behind, the code behind, is really doing that, what they are proclaiming, or the data are not biased, or something like this. So this is digital sovereignty. And in the European country, this argument, especially in use with Microsoft Office, is coming up more and more. I have a discussion this morning where I said the open source community did long time effort. We always argued with costs. Open source is for free. You can download it, scale up with every client. But the real thing why it's worth to use open source is this kind of digital sovereignty. There are a lot of examples. I think I do not need to mention something like Volkswagen, which they did with software, fooling the test with the software. So this is the reason why it is, and MI6 chief Richard Moore said it in a good way. So the answer for keeping digital sovereignty is open source and open standards. So in European areas, we are faced with a huge wave. I know in the Asian countries it is a problematical picture, but I want to show you that this is very much important thing which is coming us, because everybody in industry or in government, more in government than in industry, is saying, okay, I want digital sovereignty, I want it now, and I want it all. So the demand is that when we proclaim digital sovereignty, but then we need to fulfill the same needs as Microsoft Office do, or the co-pilots with Microsoft Office. So what I want to do now is to go from the left side where the Office Productivity Suite is to the right side where the AI functionality could be coded, and where are the possibilities of integration with an Office suite, with LibreOffice, what you can do with it, what we have on examples with AI integration in LibreOffice, and where we see the main demand in the future to integrate AI functionality in LibreOffice. First of all, why is LibreOffice itself, or LibreOffice technology on these different devices, digital sovereign? Because it fulfills these four freedoms. Keep in mind these four freedoms. I will show you later a classification of ethical AI, and you will find some criteria of this as well. So first of all, the first freedom of open source is run the program as you wish for any purpose. You can download it, you can do it without restrictions and without registrations. Nobody wants to know who you are, for what are you downloading the software, and for what. To study it, how it works, this is the transparency, to look into the code, to look into the algorithms, and to verify that no data is going out anywhere, especially not to US. To share copies of it, yeah? You are allowed to scale up in the whole university, every PC or client to deploy a LibreOffice installation. This cares nobody. And ahead of this, you are also allowed to redistribute changes of the source code which you have done by your own. Be careful, there are some open source license constructions which are handling this a little bit slightly different, because there are some demands that if you are changing the source code of an open source software, they demand that you give these changes as open source as well. But there are different levels of open source license agreements, and this one, what LibreOffice is using, it's completely free what you do. Even if you are doing it with a proprietary one. If you integrate it with proprietary software, you are allowed to do this. And we will see exactly this with OpenAI. Yeah, second thing is, I mentioned it, it's the open document format, which is totally, completely open and free, which is, to be honest, and this was what Italo explained last year, the open document format, the native document format from LibreOffice is a completely free XML-based document format, and not with binary parts in it because of backward compatibility or something like this, which are 99.9% of all documents which Microsoft Office produce. So now I come to the, I make the step in the middle and want to just mention the possibilities how to integrate into LibreOffice, which would be the interface for programming, or maybe the interface for programming with AI tools and the Office suite. So first of all, this is really an easy one. This is the interface in the command line. You are able to use the Office suite and perform tasks, more or less all tasks you can do in this Office suite from command line. You can give a command line statement with a lot of parameters behind and can do a lot of things in this. So the easiest integration level, or the lowest, is via the command line integration. More often, you can find integration via these functionality enhancing with extensions. So you can bring in this Office suite a kind of piece which have code in it, mostly these days Python code. Python is very important in combination with AI stuff. You have a lot of libraries which you can use in and use it here within LibreOffice then, and bring this functionality into LibreOffice itself. So you can enhance UI, you can enhance, you can take the prompt, for example, out and produce content into the documents and so on. So this is the second, more sophisticated level with logic in it. But I think the most reasonable level of integration is this with a universal network objects layer. What LibreOffice has, a totally open API. This is an API, and behind the API is an object model. So the first level is shown over there, but you can imagine that this is really, really complex behind these shown nodes, with which you can interact with mostly all programming languages. There are binding bridges with which you can, out of C++, from Python, from Java, or what you want, interact with this Office suite. So, for example, if you want to analyze all data which your company have stored in the open document format, you can do functionality who is scanning all these documents, putting out the content, doing something with this, for example, learning, and also manipulate this. This is a very, very complex API, to be honest. This is described in a lot of websites. I mentioned the one, a lot of documentations, 1,500 pages or something like this, and this is hard stuff. Before I show you at which level we have already solutions with AI, I want to mention, out of experience, where do we need such AI functionality in Office productivity suites? And what I was wondering, that these 4 categories, out of experience, were mostly fitting with these 5 or 6 levels the Cambio CTO was presenting this morning. And I can assure that the most or the up-to-date integrations, Microsoft Office with its Copilot is slightly on this level, but we with LibreOffice can do some stuff in this generative AI level. So something like recognition and producing, summarizing document content is possible in text, audio, graphic, and video. Speech is a kind of problem and will need a lot of integration work with AI models who are able to handle speech recognition or the transforming to text. The more sophisticated is AI assistant pilot performing functions for layouting, pattern learning. This is this button click, clean my presentation, all with the same master slides and so on. Therefore, there is no solution up to now, so work to do. But what also is where we are working on is this pattern learning over used styles and templates. So we are looking at the user behavior, what they are doing, and trying to combine some activities for one clicking for help the users doing some layouting or something like this quicker. This comes with now again an experience out of the industry, out of the practice. This comes with one, the positive side is you can gain productivity. The negative side is that you start to obscure functionality from the user. Why is this important? Because if the user wants to do a slightly different master slide, he never knows anymore how to do this. So this is one, but this is a general problem. Next one is data mining and knowledge management. We have heard some paper demonstrations today, I think, for knowledge graphs and so on. This is this level. Automatically learn from behavior, from content, document content, sorry, and doing something like a knowledge graph and knowledge management for the company or for the government. And the highest level is this meant in the sense of software robots, where there are some co-pilots behind every special worker, recognizing what they are doing and automate such a workflow by themselves, supervised or unsupervised. In the best case, they will do the work unsupervised so that, for example, a granting and support for a customer is done without interaction of any human being anymore. We are far away from there, but this should be one target. I think there are some models, AI models there, which can organize such things, but we have to do the integration work. So I promised you to give you a few examples of what we are already doing with LibreOffice technology. Again, this is work done in industry or in government. For example, one of our very active member, Asian Mektor Rania Amina, he's Indonesian. He was the first one, I think 1.5 years ago, who brought in this prompt from OpenAI to LibreOffice. So as you could see here, I have labeled this with hybrid or full digital sovereignty. Because using OpenAI, you don't know what is, if you have the API to OpenAI, the content is going to their servers and you don't exactly know what they are doing with it. So this is a hybrid way. But he did also the same interface with Google AI Studio. So not all open source, but a lot more open source then. OpenAI. There is a quite similar extension for writer, for the text editor, from Zara Hatami. You can find this in the YouTube channel, and from there where you can find the code, with a Python integration, which is also a prompting thing, but you can do first steps in, for example, in summarizing content of a document. If you have 40 pages document, then you can ask for, give me a summary of these next 40 pages, and print it on the text document. There are other extensions which you can find on this extension website from LibreOffice. And there are now some more open AI solutions with LibreOffice. As I mentioned, Nextcloud is one of a big contributor to LibreOffice. Why? Because Nextcloud Office itself is LibreOffice technology. So behind Nextcloud Office is LibreOffice. And what they are doing is they are integrating AI assistants, like I've mentioned in these 4 categories, more and more. They are really, really doing a great job in integrating this in Nextcloud Office. Another example is a very famous project in Europe nowadays. That is the government of Schleswig-Holstein. Schleswig-Holstein is a northern country of Germany, regional state administration, who is completely migrating 30,000 clients to open source. So all administration workers are working on open source clients, also with Nextcloud. And what they are doing for them is a kind of what I've mentioned, that they try to find workflow, to learn about workflows, document workflows, and automate them. This is an early stage, but I'm convinced that they will bring a lot of more productivity to Schleswig-Holstein. A kind of similar activity is OpenDesk. OpenDesk is a brand. No, it's gone. It's OpenDesk from the Center of Digital Sovereignty in Germany. It's a so-called open source project office of the government of Germany. And this is based on technology from Nextcloud and this project, and they are pooling fundings for enhancing this. To be honest, there's not the problem of money. There's the problem of know-how. And again, this is where you come into the game. And last but not least, what I experienced at the beginning of this year is that the government of Taiwan is something quite similar. They are developing an integrated solution, but they want to have a pre-trained basic AI model which is running locally, operated locally, so that on any PC of a so-called special administration worker can use AI functionality just without connectivity to a server or to the cloud, just on the PC. So this is hard stuff, I know, and they are struggling with hardware restrictions on the client side, but they are working on it. And all upstream, what means it's open source. At the time when it's working, you can take it, you can innovate on that. The other thing what I want to, or what I have mentioned, is this ethical AI ranking. So every extension, every functionality which is coming into Nextcloud, they have done such an easy but meaningful classification for ethical reasons. So everybody who is using such an extension can decide by himself if it is okay. So here are 3 categories or 3 questions. First is the software open source, both for interferencing and training? Second one is trained model freely available for self-hosting? Third one is the training data available and free to use? And then they are giving all these extensions, this functionality, a green, a yellow, orange, or a red one button, so you can see, okay, if it is labeled red, nothing from this is fulfilled, is done. So it's on your choice, it's transparent, and it's on your choice if you want to do that or not. Or if you are in an environment where it is appropriate, perhaps just use features which are labeled green. Yeah, this is the mentioned Schleswig-Holstein project, 30,000 clients. I want to skip these. This is the look of this standardized IT workstation, which is completely, when it is fulfilled, completely open source. You find some logos here. You see that one of these columns are LibreOffice, which will be enhanced with these artificial intelligence functionalities. Others here you can see there's some Nextcloud, Mozilla, Open Exchange as Exchange, Microsoft Exchange substitution, and so on. So, the journey in artificial intelligence have just begun. We are very, very in our first steps, and we need know-how, we need persons, we need students, we need researchers who are able to do AI stuff and who are able to integrate this into LibreOffice. And this was the reason why I've given you just a glimpse what is meant with integrate in LibreOffice. And I think we have seen some paper demonstrations which are perfectly fitting in this. Bringing this functionality was what was researched there with an integration into LibreOffice and then get used. Some text summarizing, learning, and so on. So what are the opportunities for joining these efforts? Mainly 3. Certainly not just individuals, but also ecosystem partners. I've discussed this with Cambio during the lunch, how they can use LibreOffice instead of Microsoft Office. So get involved with the community. What is very, very important to know is that the Document Foundation is giving some help with development coaches. These development coaches are very fluent in this integration and this object model and so on, but they don't know so exactly, and that's, again, you, what to do with AI models and how to develop them, how to code them, and so on. So we can bring in help to learn how you can integrate in LibreOffice. And you can bring in the AI know-how and how to get AI software in it. There are a lot of job offers in Asia, mainly in Europe, with these job skills asked for. Have a look at this website. By the way, if you want to have the slides, there are a lot of websites. Please give me an email. The last slide is with an email address. So give me an email. I will deliver to you so that you can have a look in these websites. And also as students, there are possibilities. For example, in Google Summer of Code, we are engaged with the Document Foundation. We have own projects funded by foundation money, or we have all possibilities for asking these development coaches if you want to do it at the university. Then also there's a possibility to have a coach at the Document Foundation for this integration stuff. If you want to know more, then go to the website, what can I do for LibreOffice tutorial? Easy hacks, there's a website in the wiki of Document Foundation where easy hacks, this is not just AI stuff, but everything else, to come into the code of LibreOffice, to doing some bug fixing, to do easy hacks. So I hopefully had the chance to argue that from the left side, from LibreOffice to the right side to AI functionality, it's important to have it on open source, open data, and with the foundation TDF, which I mentioned as a foundation for good, will not go this way as OpenAI had done. You have the guarantee that your work is open source and will be good for all. Last but not least, I want to mention something else which I am really lobbying for. Keto Kenzio, you know, I'm lobbying for labeling all content which is made by AI. So you can imagine then we are talking about an Office suite. And an Office suite is a perfect tool for integrating AI-made content and fooling people. So I am really for a rule that says, please label if something is, some content or reasoning or workflow is done by AI. To be open for that. And by the way, in this slide were no content AI produced. Yeah, with that, thank you very much. I hope I can give you an insight into where we stand in this Copilot challenge for LibreOffice, and I'm open for questions. Timo.
Hello, thank you. So the question is not about Copilot, of course, but it's not about Copilot.
Okay.
You know, in Sri Lanka there are lots of people who use laptops. I mean, we use it until they actually break down. I mean, so, but after some time you can't run the new software. So I go and try to put Linux on them, and then of course LibreOffice is the obvious choice for the Office suite. The issue is that some of the older people who are now using, you know, they are the ones who will use this, and they are used to that Microsoft, you know, layout. So I've been trying to see, is there a way to, you know, because it's open source, I'm sure you can kind of make the menu look like Microsoft Office.
This is really an interesting question. Do you know why? Younger people are complaining the other way around. Why are you not going with a UI which is more high sophisticated and so on?
Correct. So for us, that's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for these people, sometimes, and so some of them have been introduced to some of these Chinese, reverse engineers to Office suites, which look just like Microsoft Office. But I'm sure, I mean, I was thinking somebody must have, you had that site, something hacks.
Yes, easy hacks, yeah.
Yeah. Is there something where they've done that? And so.
Yeah, we have a lot of tasks for doing exactly this. We have a slightly problem with, there is some UI copyright in Microsoft. For example, the icons, we can't use the same icons. They are on copyright. But certainly we can do a lot more to fulfill them. And even we can do it to configure it. Like if I'm old, I use this one. If I'm young, I want to use one. We already have done this. You can change the UI from this tapped UI to menu bar and vice versa. But you're right, we are open source. If there's someone who contributes to this, we can do this, yeah. Or see a business model in it.
Thank you for the presentation. My question is on so you talked about challenges in integrating generative AI in open source products, and um, so could Gen AI widen the gap between open source products and commercial applications because of the high computational power that is required for not only for training but even in inferencing. So can the open source community, from a economic point of financial and economic point of view, is there a viable business, or not a business model, some kind of a...
We have to convince customers or governments to fund such things. Out of the foundation, we have some funds, but out of the foundation we are not able to really to operate, for example, servers with AI functionality and so on. So we need contributions for that. Comes it from the government side, researcher side, or comes it from private companies? But the real answer is, that's the question. Sorry, can't give you a better answer to that. But the interesting thing is, with open source, you are allowed to do this. You can do this. So you will have to find someone who is interested in it. And even you can do business with open source, as I'm doing with my company.
Thank you very much. I first want to have a small comment. So when we do hire, people for master thesis, PhD thesis, we think that people who have actually contributed to OpenAI source project, that's a very big plus. So I encourage you to,
Absolutely.
take
Every
up what Lothar
contribution,
said.
even to OpenAI, is positive. Definitely.
So the other thing I want to mention, it's really great that now this has nothing to do with the AI stuff. So now that you're getting successful in the sense that there are governments, using your software, there will also be other not so friendly governments and people who are trying to, sneak in bad code, evil code and stuff. So how do you handle this, right? I mean, how much extra effort does this put on you?
This is one task, for example, which is covered by the foundation. So there are around about 10 quality assurance people who are looking what is coming in, and they have to acknowledge if some functionality or code is going to the core, it's verified. So we have people to guarantee quality or the right functionality. There is an example you have in mind, what we have discovered a few months ago in open source, where over a long time there were infiltrated some functionality. Yeah. This is a challenge, and we address this with certified developers. We certify developer, and there are people dedicated for analyzing the quality.
Great, thanks.
Although LibreOffice has more powerful capabilities, just as you mentioned, more than Microsoft Office, I think the popularity has been gained by Microsoft Office. So what I wanted to know is, are there any things that you're planning in your roadmap to bring so that LibreOffice could gain more popularity among the users? Because even when I came to university only, I got to know about LibreOffice. So before that, I knew about Microsoft Office. But so are there any
That's why I'm standing here. Yeah, you're right, but believe me, it's a hard task. 95% of all is Microsoft Office. What we have is a share around about 4 to 5%. Yeah, we have to do more promoting. But guess what? I think this digital sovereignty aspect is bringing a lot of sensibility for that a monopolist can do what you want, even with your data. or can be forced, if he stays in USA, to give it to the government, or all these problems which come. Yeah, we would love to do more. We need more people who are doing this volunteering. Perhaps we can engage you here in Sri Lanka. We have one guy, very active guy, to promote LibreOffice more in open source events, in universities, because we need more young people, we need more AI stuff for it. Please help us, contribute. Thank you.
Professor, I have a question. So then you talk about that the Microsoft Office and so how the popular game for the LibreOffice. So in the LibreOffice has made some studies supporting proprietary formats like docx, SLS, like this often struggle with full compatibility, especially for the complex documents. So what new approaches could LibreOffice can take to improve the compatibility for like Microsoft Office documents?
So if I understood it right, you have asked about the compatibility problem. If you have a whole bunch of Microsoft Office documents, how to get it better working into LibreOffice, right? Okay, this is a typical migration problem. This is the most work we have to do when we migrate a customer from Microsoft Office to LibreOffice. Well, again, this is hard stuff. I tell you the following. As I said, open document format is a fully complete free documented ISO standard, document standard. So Microsoft is doing an open document exporting filter. So you can also export out of Microsoft Office an open document format. Now I tell you what's the challenge the other way around. If we have to import Microsoft Office documents, we have a lot to guess. The people, the developer who are writing these import and export filters have not a completely free standard where they can, a specification of this document format where they can look in and say, okay, if this is this kind of object, I have to do this with this, and they have to have example documents looking in Microsoft Office, what's happening with them, looking in LibreOffice, what's happening with them, and with this difference, developing import filters. So it would mostly help if Microsoft Office completely free this document format. They certainly will not do that. But this would help. But the challenge is to always run behind this Microsoft changes in document format, which are not completely free. They are free, partially, but there are parts in it which are not free, which we have always run behind and working on this compatibility. But to be honest, the last 2 years, there happened a lot. There happened really, really a lot because a lot of customers invested in these compatibility tasks, finding documents where something is not working, where the typical problems, yeah, your logo is not there, it's there, and so on, where they could be covered. What is still a big problem is logic, is macro. Okay, I think I've overtimed. So thank you so much also for your questions, and please help us.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Becker, for that enlightening session. We would like to kindly request you to remain on stage. And yes, we have prepared a small token of appreciation. And to hand over this token of appreciation, I kindly invite Dr. Chamat Keppetiagang. Thank you once again.
Thank you.